Hi guys, I'm Nick Bester. I'm a 220 marathoner, a running coach, and welcome back to my channel. And if you find running tough, don't worry, you are not alone. The reason why is because it is tough. It's tough for me, it's tough for a lot of other people out there. And if you're getting out for a run, give yourself some kudos, be kind to yourself because it's not easy. However, there are smart ways to go about your training, and today's video is all about how to keep your training as productive as possible and train to a smart structure. I, in the past, started at over 25 minutes for 5Ks, and I've built that down to sub 15. In the marathon distance, I started at 3 hours 17, and I managed to bring that down to 220, not sub 220 just yet, but I'm trying. And do you know what? I've always been a bit heavier than the runners I compete against, a bit bigger, maybe not as talented, but I've trained consistently to this sort of structure over a lot of years, and I've seen results from it. I train a lot of my athletes to this structure. And there are smart ways to go about things. Like I said, running is super tough, but by doing things in a smart way, you're giving yourself the best possible chance to improve and chasing down those PBs. Okay, before I go into what your weekly structure should look like, I just want to mention these 8 things. First of all, you should keep your hard days hard and easy days easy. So we want to avoid sort of intermediate days. What I mean by that is when you're working hard, you really want to snap out of your comfort zone. It's uncomfortable getting fitter. It takes snapping out of your comfort zone regularly in order to see the best possible results. And remember, there's lots of times for fun and games in the week, and let's take life lightheartedly. But for those harder sessions, it's business time. We really want to focus. Pushing your body requires quite a lot of concentration. So hard days hard, and easy days easy. On those easy days, we really want to switch the mind off, allow the body to soak up all that good training we've done so that we're ready for those harder days once again, and we keep doing that. So hard days up here, easy days over here, and let's avoid too much training in the middle. Okay, number 2 is that I only want you to have 2 to 2.5 harder days in a week. That's it. If we have 3 hard days in a week, that's too much. 2 hard days is probably the sweet spot. If you've been running for a lot of years and your body's adapted to running, then 2.5 is good. The rest of that, easy mental rejuvenation. Number 3, just know that improving takes snapping out of that comfort zone. Often, and I'm guilty of this, we want to just run within our comfort zone. But when you see those real proper gains, you're snapping out of your comfort zone, you're hurting. And I promise you, when you're hurting and your mind is racing and your body's telling you to just slow down, just know that everyone's going through these motions. It's really hard for a lot of us. And even if you find yourself in a race situation where you're hurting, I promise you the person in front of you, behind you, next to you is hurting just as much, if not more. So know that it's not always going to be easy, but I promise you, the more you go through those motions, the sweeter the feeling is afterwards. Number 4, just know that fitness doesn't come overnight. Okay, Rome was not built in a day. You need to do this training for a consistent period of time. Once you start seeing marginal gains in those improvements, then I promise you they start ramping up. But it takes a little while, and don't be disheartened if the improvements don't come straight away. Keep showing up. Okay, number 5, I'm a firm believer in that you need to fuel hard to train hard, okay? Stronger means faster, not necessarily lighter. I've seen a lot of runners make the mistake when they start improving naturally. You're doing a lot more training and you're probably, consuming similar than what you were before. So you start getting lighter, and then runners tend to get obsessed with getting lighter, and then they end up getting faster and breaking. We want to avoid that completely. Remember, you want to feel strong to run strong. Running fast is all about good power to weight ratio, and you really need to give your body the fuel it deserves. So often before my harder days, the night before, I'll have carbs for good fast burning energy, things like whole wheat pasta, sweet potato, brown rice. And then going into those hard days, you're nice and fueled, hydrated, ready to go, ready to be as productive as possible and push your body. And then straight after those harder days, you're looking for a good protein intake, maybe excess protein than what you would have on the easy days. That just feeds your body the fuel it needs and speeds up that recovery process. Number 6, very important. With increased structure and speed, often tends to come niggles as well. I've seen it happen to a lot of runners once again, where you start improving, you start flying, and then the next thing you have a niggle or injury strikes. We want to avoid that completely, and you need to be honest with yourself. So what I always say is, if you have a niggle around 6 or 7 out of 10, you're better off backing off then and doing a form of cross training. So maybe things like spin bike, swimming, elliptical, where you're getting a good aerobic benefit, but you're not absolutely hammering the body. I'm sure your body will appreciate the non-impact from running. And at the same time, you need to, if it gets any worse, you're better off going to see a physio. They're the professionals, they can diagnose things. But remember, in running, we don't want to progress too much too soon. And sometimes it's a case of taking 1 step backwards in order to take 2 or 3 forward. So be honest with yourself and back off sooner than later. Okay, number 7, strength and conditioning is a key part to training. When you start picking up structure and you start improving, often your leg speed is there, but your body doesn't quite adapt. It takes a number of years to adapt to be able to handle the running load. And by getting in your strength and conditioning, you're really giving yourself the best possible chance of 1, remaining injury-free throughout training, and 2, your body's ability to be able to handle the load of running. Number 3, it also comes with improved performance. If you feel stronger, like I said, you run stronger as well. And then number 8, if you can afford it, get yourself a running coach. There's massive benefits to having a running coach, like following good structure, smart training, keeping you accountable. However, I understand that running coaching is not affordable for everyone. I do have PDF guides that are just £6. I'll put it in the description below. But ultimately, you want to do 2 things. You want to have something to follow, have a structure to follow, and 2, really feel part of a team or have a coach hold you accountable, because that just helps you get out on those 50-50 days where sometimes you really don't feel like it. Great, so here's what a productive weekly program should look like. Okay, so on a Monday, easy everyday running, effort levels 3 out of 10. You really want to switch the brain off on this day. Easy doesn't necessarily have a pace. I know my easy runs are around probably about a minute slower than my marathon pace, but the main objective of these easy runs is that they do feel easy. If you're following a heart rate, you probably shouldn't go more than around 72% of your heart rate max, which is around zone 2. If you've got a running watch that has a built-in heart rate monitor, it's great for tracking sleep and when you stat it. But as soon as sweat gathers underneath, I recommend getting an external heart rate monitor. They're just a lot more accurate. And once again, I don't follow this religiously whilst training, but when I get back from my easy runs, I look at what my average was, and if it's around 72 or just below of what my max was, that's about right. But like I said, the main thing, easy days should feel easy. Then on a Tuesday, track or interval session Tuesday, effort levels 9 out of 10. This day we really need to snap out of our comfort zone. And what I mean by that is sort of typical track sessions might be like 10 times 400 meter repeats, recovery around 75 seconds or so. What you're doing in the session is you're running at goal race pace, shorter distance race pace. So you're really getting your legs turning over at a faster speed than race pace. It's so good to bank good volume here, but at the same time, you do need to be cautious with these. You want to progress as you go along. So I would say if you're getting into these for the first time, start off a bit easier, progress as you go along. And a productive way to train to these is always by aiming to make the last rep your fastest. So you want to be working at around 8.5, finishing on 9 out of 10. It always helps if you have a group of people to do this with. And another thing to be mindful of is that for your recoveries, you can do them as a static rest or a walk or an easy jog. The main purpose of the recovery is to recover as much as possible before really going harder the next rep again. If you don't manage to progress in these and make the last rep your fastest, it's okay. Good on you for trying, and keep trying until you get it right. Okay, now on to Wednesday, another easy day, effort levels 3 out of 10. Once again, similar to Monday, if you're an established runner and you're running 4, 5, 6 days a week, then it's completely fine to do this as a run. But I often recommend doing this as a form of cross training. Your body just appreciates the non-impact. It's really good for you in many ways. However, if you're a runner like myself, sometimes you find that time goes a whole lot quicker running than cross training. But don't get me wrong, there's really big benefits to cross training. Easy days easy, mentally rejuvenate for what's to come. Okay, so on to Thursday. This is either going to be 3 out of 10 or 6 to 7 out of 10, depending on how established a runner you are. If you've been running for not long and you're just getting into it, then I would say 2 harder days in a week is good for you. Thursday, keep easy, either rest day or easy recovery. If you've been running for a long time, then Thursdays this is your intermediate day. So your 2.5 harder days, this is the half harder day. And often it's a really good day to do tempo work and heel work. Remember, heels are a crucial part of training, even for when training for flatter races. There's big benefits to heels. The world's best do heels even when they target flatter races, and there's a reason why. Heels do pay the bills, get that elevation in. And you should alternate your heel sessions. Sometimes heel sprints, where shorter sprints, really focusing on explosive energy, good form. And then sometimes there's longer repeats, really focusing on heel power. Longer repeats are probably something between 40 seconds to 60 seconds, whereas heel sprints are probably something between 10 seconds up to 30 seconds. Now onto tempo or threshold work. So this is a range where you're working hard, but you're not all out racing. You can probably say a few words, but not a full sentence. For some, it might be between your 10K and half marathon efforts. For others, it might be between your half marathon to marathon efforts. But once again, think comfortably tough. You're working hard, but you're not killing yourself. This sort of pace you probably could hold for around 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, on to Friday we go. Effort levels 1 out of 10. full rest day. I encourage a full rest day from activity, just allowing your body to absorb all the goodness. It's a really good day to maybe do some yoga or get your own playlist going, focus on things you need to, little bits and pieces, and rejuvenate for the weekend ahead. Okay, the weekend has begun Saturday. So option here, either it can be an easy Saturday and a harder Sunday, or harder Sunday and an easy Saturday. Okay, so it's either going to be 8 out of 10 or 4 out of 10 effort levels. On the 8 out of 10 effort, you're probably looking for like a really good Saturday session, nice and sharp, snapping out of the comfort zone. Remember, this is your other hard day in the week. You can also do maybe a harder park run, a 5K time trial, sort of anything to really get you out of the comfort zone, working hard. The other option is to go easy today. So Sunday means you'll do quality within your longer run. So probably good to alternate some longer runs easy, some have structure within it. And by that I mean things like, depending on what your goals are, maybe 3 times 10 minutes at marathon efforts, or 3 by 5K at marathon efforts. Especially in the build up to a marathon, the Sunday marathon longer runs become key, and I highly recommend doing that probably from about 12 weeks out all the way through to your marathon. But if you're out of marathon season or targeting shorter distance goals, then it's good to alternate it between easy long run and quality harder longer run. And there you have it. It's not rocket science, but once again, probably easier said than done. I know life can get crazy for all of us. You need to try and find routine, find the time, plan your weekly schedule. That helps a lot. I really hope you found this video helpful, and just remember that if you're not seeing results straight away, stick with it. I promise you, keep showing up, keep showing up, keep showing up, and the day those results come, they really start going. Aim for small win after small win, and at the end of the day, when you add up all the small wins, they make a significant gain. Good luck, go get it, train smart, be productive. It's tough for all of us, but the harder you work, the better you feel afterwards. Let's go.